Hey y'all, Noons here. Welcome back to Noons Airborne RC. And in today's video, I got a model. It's an oldie but a goodie that I had on the shelf. It's the AF model T-28. And with it being an older model, it is one of those ones that you have to install every control horn and do a little bit more work. So this video is going to be an instructional video on how to put it together. We're also going to be installing an FrSky receiver and setting that thing up. Now let's go over some specs on this thing. The wingspan is 1100 millimeters. The length is 930 millimeters. It's powered by a 3536 750 kV motor with a 3-blade prop, 40 amp ESC, 7 9-gram digital servos, electric servoless retracts, and it runs on a recommended 4S 2200 battery. Well, what do y'all say, everybody? Let's go out to the hangar and get the bird's eye view and get this thing to see some light. Welcome back, y'all. So here we got our box and we got the bird's eye view. We went ahead and unboxed it from the shipping box. So let's go ahead and open her up. I already cut the tape. And voila, nicely packaged, very good. Let's go ahead and start off with the small stuff, shall we? So here's your bag of tidbits. It's got all your Ys, it's got your spinner, your Velcro, and it's got all your little push rods and your horns, everything to go ahead and finish off the plane. All the screws. Let's go ahead and get our blade. Once again, y'all, when you get a new model and you use a blade, be careful so you don't damage your brand new aircraft. There we go. Have our elevators. So go ahead and get rid of that and open one up. Nicely painted. Looks like a foam hinge. Got our point for our spar, and that's where we're going to go ahead and attach it. That looks really nice. I like that color. Looks really good. All right. Next, it looks like we have our wing. Now this is a 7-channel. So you have your basic functions. Your throttle, elevator, ailerons, rudder, gear, flaps, and this thing also has an air brake, y'all. That is a nice paint. Can almost not tell the cells. Nice work on the decals. As you can see, we still have to install our control points. All the wiring's done right here. Right there, y'all. That's the servo for the air brake. Servoless retracts. Real nice. This model right here, y'all, it's going to take longer to do all the control surfaces than put it together. Guaranteed. A little bit of work, saving a lot of money. 1100 millimeters from side to side. Nice stout frame. This is the Jolly Roger scheme. Most of the times you see them, you'll see them in the yellow, or you'll see them in that navy trainer scheme. But this is the Jolly Roger, as you can see. Pull her out. And it looks like we had the spinner hiding on the bottom. Let's get that out and get rid of the box. And we'll be right back. Go ahead and open up the spinner first before we get to the fuselage. Open it and be careful we don't bend it. Nice scale spinner. Now again, remember y'all, balance your props and your spinners before you fly. That way you have a successful flight and you don't rip off the front end of your plane. have an open end right here. What do y'all think? Nice paint job, nice decal work. And there's our 750 kV motor right there in the front. Wings go ahead and go on with 4 screws. Call it done. We got our vent holes, front gear. And this opens up. Just like that. Nice strong magnets and a tongue. Had some sticky paint or some glue from the canopy. Yep, right there. So just give it a little wiggle and she'll come out. There's our 40 amp ESC. All our servo leads. Ample room for your 4S2200 battery. As you can see, it's carbon reinforced down the fuselage. The ESC is loose. Does have a XT60. I'll go ahead and cinch this down to go ahead and make it more secure so it doesn't have adverse CG. We have our leads right here to the back. Everything right here set up for the rudder. This got navigation lights, also a plus on this model, everybody. This thing should go together fairly easy. Like I said, it'll be more time spent on the control surfaces, but we're gonna go ahead and do that in this video later on as well. I'm very impressed on this aircraft, the paint, the decal work, everybody. Really am. And it is a nice size. I call it a fun size. It's not too big where it's hard to get around to and from the airfield, and it's not too small where you got to try and fly it in close to keep your eye on it. Now we're not going to put it together, we're just putting it here for size. Now that is a nice size plane. So what we're going to go ahead and do coming up in the video following this is we're going to go ahead and start installing all our control surfaces. I'm going to show you how I go ahead and do it to get this thing ready to fly. So let's start. Now in that big bag of tidbits, you'll see that it comes with individual bags already named. We're going to start with the wing. So we're going to grab the aileron and the flat bag. Now for the wing, y'all, you can do it multiple ways. You could install the wing, put on the receiver, and do your linkages and control horns while the wing is on the plane. I choose to do everything when I have the wing out. You do you. So we're going to start off with the ailerons. And you could use the receiver if you have it. I like to use my servo tester. It just makes my life nice and easy. And I'm going to use a NiCad battery. So we're going to hook up our servo tester and we're going to center the servo for the aileron. And then we're going to hook up our control horn here to the actual moving surface. And then we're going to put on our push rod. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, everybody. So we have the control horn, the back plate, and 4 of the screws that came in the aileron bag. And we're simply going to put our control horn in and run our screws through the hole. Again, the first one is always, for me, a challenge. And I'm just going to go ahead and poke it on through. There we go. Alright. And I like to do 2 screws when I do this. Show you what it looks like, just like that. Now, this aileron, it is fatter and thinner, so your screws will look to be longer on one side, and that's just because of the way that the aileron is shaped. We're going to take our back plate, we're going to put it on the back side, and we're going to screw it together. And now we have ours centered at 90 degrees. We're going to take our control rod that came in the aileron pack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up and see which way it likes to fall. I believe it's going to like to go this way. Let's try from the inside. I'm going to use the outer hole. We're going to have to come in quite a bit. Okay, outer hole, outer hole. I have it very much centered. I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna put the control horn here on the flap servo, but I'm not gonna do the flap servo until I get in with the receiver, till I can get this adjusted with my throws. At that time, I'll go through and I'll put shrink wrap or a rubber band around here just to make sure that this is snug. So I'm gonna do the rest of the wing and we'll be right back. All right, we're gonna move on to the elevator since we got the wings semi set up. So you have your two elevator pieces. They're gonna slide in these two posts, and they also will tether together right here in the rear so they move as one. Now there is a screw hole, and that's gonna go from the underneath. The other side, and we're going to also lock up the rear right here. And then you install the two screws, one on each side, that come in the elevator bag. And we're going to repeat the same process. We're going to hook up our servo tester to our elevator here and our rudder. We're going to put on our control horns, both on the elevator and the rudder. All right, another little tip is these holes are sandwiched between two pieces of plastic here on the elevator, and it's hard to line up the hole. So I went with a micro drill, and I'm just cleaning out the hole. That way I can pilot the screw straight through instead of spreading this apart. All right, y'all, now this is what it looks like. Outer hole, and on this side, don't forget to put your back plate right there. Now that the elevator's done, we're going to do the same thing to the rudder. All right, y'all. We have our rudder installed just the same way as we installed our elevator, the same way as we installed our aileron. I have it hooked up to my servo tester, and there you guys go. Center it out. Bam. Now we're going to move on to the next step. All right, y'all. Now for the next step, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to mount the wing onto the plane. We'll need these 4 mounting screws that come with the kit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, on the wing side, go ahead and take off that tape, pull your leads to the front, and you have your lead right here for your air brake. Now, the lead for the air brake is going to go right down in this little hole. Let me turn the fuse. It's going to go in that hole. All the other leads are going to go right down in this hole. Make sure we don't have any binding, and we're going to sit the wing flush and install our screws. Now for the 4 screws, you'll notice that there are 2 screws that are longer than the others. The longer screws are going to go towards the front, and the shorter screws are going to go towards the back. Just like that. And you want to tighten the screws until the wing is snug. You don't want to smash it down. These holes bottomed out. These ones just needed a little bit more. And as you can see, by me putting my thumbs here and trying to lift on the wing, it does not move up and down. It's nice and secured. It's not smashed. We're good to go. All right, everybody. So we have our Ys. We got one for the rudder and the steering, one for the LEDs. Now for the LEDs, we're only using the hot and the neutral, not the signal. And then the one for the gear that ties the nose wheel to the wing retracts. So let's tie that up right now. Everybody, she's all wired up. She's ready for a receiver. Now when we get the receiver in here, we're going to go ahead and adjust our flaps. And we're also going to install our prop next. Now for the prop, there is a hex on the shaft that you'll just match and mate up. Make sure you balance your prop and your spinner before you install it to improve your efficiency, or the vibrations might rip off your front end. And we're simply going to just thread this on. And she's done.